Hi everybody. Hi, my name is Andre and I run the website called Kingdom Warriors. I also have the Facebook page and I've just been commissioned by the Lord to do what I need to do as far as sending out these videos are concerned, and even if I reach one or two, I just trust that the Lord is going to bless you. I want to give you some information and just tell you about my testimony and how the Lord has saved me. I grew up in a Christian home. I'm the eldest of 5 kids, and we used to go to church every Sunday, morning and evening. There actually came a time where I was kind of forced to go to church. I just went for the sake of my parents. And I'll also just give you a few key events in my life, events that rocked my life and just changed me, and how I went down the wrong path. I remember when I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, I was sexually molested by a family friend, someone who I thought was a friend. 3 years later, I was molested by one of my neighbors. Now, these are all key events in my life that shaped the way I was. You know, I went to 4 different high schools. I was a rebel without a clue. And you know what? I grew up with 2 best friends. We called ourselves the 3 amigos, Glenn and Terence. You know, and I got a phone call I was 13 and I got a phone call. Sorry, I said I wasn't 13, I was 16 years old. I got a phone call one morning to say that my best friend Terence, who was also 16, was just hit over the head by a 13-year-old boy that had a wooden pole. These kind of things shaped my life. And I always just to think, you know what, I only got one best friend left. And I went through life and I just, it was party after party after party. I started drinking at the age of 13, 14 years old. As I mentioned earlier, 4 different high schools. I just couldn't find my place, couldn't find my peace. And yet, the Lord had his hand upon me. I remember meeting my current wife at the age of 25. I met her. 3 months later, she was pregnant. And you know that I come from a family, as you say, my dad is a Christian man, and my mom, and my dad always used to say, you have to do the right thing. So one day, I had to make a decision, because this woman is carrying my child. And I just said, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then I'll do it. And you know that I used to speak to the Lord like I'm speaking to you guys now. But I used to just speak to him. And I said, you know what? Come, let's get married. And I remember getting married. But you know what? I'm ashamed to actually say now, looking back, that there was no real love between my wife and I. And we just went on in our marriage, and our children grew, and I kind of just distanced ourselves from church. from growing up in this family home to going to church every Sunday to not going to church at all. All I knew was like Christmas and New Year, and Christmas, Easter. Those were the kind of, if you want to call them, the big days. And my wife fell pregnant with our eldest daughter, Hannah. And my wife and I actually had a conversation one day. We said, you know what? I asked her, which church would you want to go to? And I come from a Baptist background. My wife comes from a Roman Catholic background. And I just said, I'm sorry, I ain't going there. I'm not going to a Roman Catholic church. Likewise, my wife also said, yeah, no, I'm not going to a Baptist church. So we used to alternate once every few months. Go to this church, go to that church. But yeah, no real relationship. My daughter, 7 years old, one morning, she came to my wife and I and she says, Daddy, Mommy, I want to learn more about Jesus. You know what? And we were like just so shocked. Where's this child coming on this Jesus stuff? We didn't really tell her about Jesus. So we decided, which church must we go to? We have no clue about how to go to church and what we need to do. And there was a thought that came into our mind, and we remembered 6 months before that we had found a flyer in our mailbox. A flyer in our mailbox that invited us to church just a few blocks down the road. And I want to say to you guys tonight, whoever hands out flyers, whatever you're doing for the Lord, it is not in vain. They put flyers in my mailbox 6 months before I even went to church. Anyway, we go to church. And you must know at this time our marriage is rocky. All we do is drink. Our kids, by that time my youngest daughter was born. She was 3 years old. And our life just consisted of drinking. Every weekend was buying beers and alcohol and just drinking ourselves to a standstill. So up we go. For the sake of my eldest daughter, Hannah, we go to church. And the church's name is St. James in Kenilworth. And I don't know if you know anything about the media, but that was the one church. There was a bombing in there, and a lot of people actually died within that church. Anyway, so off we go to church, and the kids go to Sunday school, and we go into church, and the first message that they preached that day was marital relationships. And I just said, you know what? Oh man, I don't really feel like this. And we actually also went to a marriage counselor after that. And I remember my wife, we went to a pastor. I didn't even know it was set. It was just amazing how it was set up. And she gave her heart to the Lord. And this man asked me, do you want to give your heart to the Lord? I said, no, I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready. I'm living my life. I am not ready. So I left it. And you know what? I went on drinking and partying and carrying on. And meanwhile, it's like the more I went to church with my daughter and my wife on a Sunday, the more the Spirit of the Lord was drawing me. And I just said, no, I'm not ready. You can't do this to me. I'm not ready. Then I went to a stag. I don't know if you guys know what a stag it is. When there's a wedding, the guy has his stag bachelor party. I think that's what they call it. And the ladies have their tea, whatever it is. I went to a bachelor's party and I got myself so horribly drunk. The next morning I got home and I was lying on the couch. And you know what my daughter saw? She saw me getting sick all the way from my lounge, all the way through to our bathroom. You know what my children said to me, both of them? 1, 7, 1, 3, 4 years old. Said, Daddy, we thought you were going to die. Please don't do that to us. We don't want to see you die, Daddy. You know what? And I vowed to myself that day that my daughters would never see me in that state again. I started slowing down on my drinking. And I just remember one day going to church, and I remember coming back home again. And I'm not too sure, because I've never ever said the sinner's prayer. I never ever said it. And I woke up one morning and I said, but I feel different. I feel different. And I actually realized then that I gave my heart to the Lord. And you know that I come from a family of 5 children, the eldest one. And I decided to tell my dad because, you know what, I just needed to tell him. So I phone him up. I say, hi Dad, we've got some news for you. Will you please come around? My dad comes to me and I think he popped around sometime later that day, and he came, and my mom and he were there, and he said, hi. I said, come inside, let's kind of chat. And I told him, you know what? And he asked me, actually said, is Megan pregnant again? Are you guys going to have another baby? I said, no, Daddy. I said, you know what? I've given my heart to the Lord. Do you know what? My dad broke down. My dad broke down. You know, and I heard a few years later when he actually told me, he said, Andre, I never knew that you were ever going to give your heart to the Lord. And I want to just tell parents out there, if you have a rebellious teenage son, do you know what? I gave my heart to the Lord at the age of 35 years. I am now 46. Nearly, yeah, I'll be 46 in the next 3 weeks. 46. That was 11 years ago. I gave my heart to the Lord. You might have children in their teens, in their 20s, in their 30s, but I want to tell you tonight that do not stop praying and interceding for them. Their time is going to come. The Lord is going to honor your prayers, and I believe that. And I just want to just don't give up. You know, there's a lot more things that I can share with you, but I just believe that the Spirit of the Lord has allowed me to share this with you. So be blessed, and I thank you for visiting my channel. Go to our website, kingdomwarriors.org.za, and be blessed. There's lots of teachings, there's lots of prayers. I will be posting regularly, and I just want to thank you for watching. God bless you.